Yep.
And the scariest part is, like, this was the best union we had, like one of the most militant unions in Australia. And it's just, if they can bring these guys down, if they can do this to them, then I just don't understand, like, what's meant to happen with the
that's crazy.
union movement in Australia. I'm not here for your subscriptions. I'm here to tell you the news.
Yeah, we just like the news. We just like talking. The goals.
We're moving to Australian news.
Oh, cool.
You might not have been here for the past week. You might have been aware of what's happening with CFMEU. It's fucking crazy.
Did you say I might not have been here for the past week?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know where you were. You posted a video of like some white shit. I don't know. You could have just been.
I said, bye-bye, Aleksa. I'm going to New Zealand, is what I said to you.
Bye-bye.
I said that to you.
Yeah, but you tell me all sorts of stuff.
I don't tell you I'm going to New Zealand when I'm not going to New Zealand.
One time, I don't know. What have you told me before?
All right, keep going.
You don't know what's happening with the CFMEU.
I don't. No.
Okay.
So continue with your story. It's relevant.
Fucking crazy. Probably one of the worst things that's happened to Australia.
Oh, really?
Ever. So CFMEU, like, as we know, is like the construction union. I mean, they cover a lot of different workers, but they're pretty much one of the most militant unions we have in Australia. They're like always going on illegal strikes, and just paying the fines, and their construction workers get paid really well because of this. They've got much better conditions than they would otherwise, much better conditions than you do in other industries. They're just big and tough, and they do all the right things. Anyway, recently, maybe 2 weeks ago, a current affair or one of those just like mainstream news outlets had come out with like a story about bikies infiltrating the CFMEU.
Of course,
so there's bikies in there somewhere in the organization. To be fair, true. You know, like I assume there are.
I'm sure there's bikies or drug dealers in every industry ever.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, the crazy thing is construction is also completely full of bikies.
Yes.
Like, I mean, if you've watched Friendly Geordies, you understand that like a lot of these big construction companies are just fronts for very famous crime families in New South Wales. Anyway, doesn't matter. No one cares about that. What we care about is the groups supporting and representing youth workers have bikies in them somewhere. And so the government's like, we can't stand for this. This is a serious problem. And so what they've done, they're pretty much completely dismantling the union. So what they've done is they put it under administration, which means the government replaces the leader and puts in someone they want. And then they fire all these delegates and replace them with their own people. This isn't like a court case where they're working out who's a bikie and who's not. The government's literally just replacing everyone who runs the union with government-appointed people.
That's fucking insane.
Exactly. So if you're part of CFMEU, you're paying your fucking union dues, you want to be represented, you voted for all these people, but also you voted for your delegates, you voted for all this, and something's replaced. It's the government.
It's not that hard to find out who a bikie is either.
I mean, the CFMEU with their kind of
they all look like bikies.
They're very bikie coded.
A lot of people are saying, "What the fuck is a bikie?" A bikie.
It's organized crime in Australia. It's like motorcycle gangs, but
we call them bikies because they ride little bikes.
But they don't even really ride motorbikes anymore. It's literally just organized crime now.
Yeah.
And the scariest part is, like, this was the best union we had, like one of the most militant unions in Australia. And it's just, if they can bring these guys down, if they can do this to them, then I just don't understand, like, what's meant to happen with the union movement in Australia. Like, we're just going to lose our unions. Like, it's insane.
Sorry, Angry Dorito said, my dad was a cop and he told me to never make eye contact with a bikie because they might become aggressive and shoot you. That's true.
I'm not sure if bikies do
No, that's true. That's true.
That sounds like a very bad business model.
I made eye contact with a bikie and he shot me.
Really?
Yeah.
Shot you with a load of G's.
He did, but he still shot me. So what were you going with the story? There's rallies.
So I'm fucking freaking out. I think it's like one of the worst things that's happened in a very long time. I don't know. I think it's not hyperbole. It's very reasonable to think that we might actually just like lose any kind of like workers' representation in Australia.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So the good news is, if you're in Australia, there are protests all across the country tomorrow. Tuesday, 27th of August.
But what if I'm too scared to go to the protest? Because what if the bikies are going to be there?
Please
what if the bikies are going to be there and I can't make eye contact with the bikies?
Don't say that. This is stupid.
No, that's a joke. That's a joke, everyone. The bikies will not be there. And if they are, no one will be looking at them.
Oh, we should do that, but we don't have any live streaming set up yet.
I got a telephone.
Well, we can go to the protest live. No, we'll see. 11 a.m. except Adelaide. So 11 a.m. Sydney Parliament House. If you're there, You should come, show some support. Why can't I talk?
Show some support.
Show some support.
For CFMEU.
Yeah. This is a really big deal for workers' rights in Australia. If they get rid of these guys, everyone's fucking wages are going to plummet even more.
Yeah. And I think they're probably doing it. They're probably hitting the hardest guys first to have topple, topple
and
on
it's just as a signal. It's just like, we can take these guys down.
Yeah.
The rest of you better get in line.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
The only good thing is there's less competition for Sparky unions now. ETU's membership numbers are about to skyrocket.
Yeah, there are good unions. There are less good unions. I think it's impressive.
Why are the Sparkies not in the CFMEU? What construction? Are carpenters in this?
Depends. I don't know. I think you can be part of it.
Who's in the CFMEU? Is it like ship
construction,
dock workers,
something maritime, something
maritime? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Someone was talking about what happened with Labor recently. Someone was talking about Labor Palestine stuff. No,
I mean, they've been doing it all.
Maybe it was something to do with unions.
They're fucking disgusting.
Yeah,
they're
they suck.
Shit. Last week or 2 weeks ago, they took heaps of money out of the NDIS. They're just they're literally just the Liberals. This is, and also shit like this. It almost feels impossible for the Liberals to do stuff like this, because then Labor would have to, in order to challenge their opponents, they'd have to be like, oh, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But when Labor's in power, Liberals aren't going to challenge them on this. They can be like, of course, let's vote together. This is great.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like stuff like this is only possible under a Labor government. And the only people talking about it are the Greens, who are now supporting organised crime.
Yeah.
They're horrible criminals.
Yeah, exactly. Is the Australian Labor Party worse than the UK?
I think it's the same.
I think, it's pretty similar.
The only worst thing about the UK is that they had an actual alternative. They had Jeremy Corbyn as the leader of the Labor Party, which is a really big deal. We didn't have that. We
haven't had anyone.
Well, we've had the Greens. The Greens are kind of similar, but they're just not particularly close to power.
No, not at all. But at least in particular, it's specific areas in Sydney where you have a more left-leaning population, the Greens do get a lot of votes.
Yeah, and they get more and more each time. And hopefully they can just stick to the right points, because they've just been doing good this whole time. Yeah, and hopefully more votes will go to them, and Labor will realize that you can't fucking do this authoritarian shit.
No, it's fucking
stamp on workers' rights.
It's crazy. Not even an Aussie Bernie. No, we haven't really had. It's weird in Australian politics. We don't really get a figurehead that's so the word.
I mean, we've had them on the right.
Exciting.
We had Pauline Hanson. I think she was quite the mobilizing for the right wing.
Yeah, but where is the left wing one? Because they're all they're so fucking lame.
Well, I think there's just a baseline of people are
Bob Catter.
When you compare it to America, everyone's baseline socialist here. Even the Liberals, they might want to, but they wouldn't really openly talk in explicit terms about getting rid of Medicare.
No, they wouldn't.
All these things are taken for granted. So in one sense, everyone's baseline, a centrist social democrat, but
then they do get rid of it in some ways. The Liberal Party introduced a thing where it's in Australia, if you are over 30, if you don't have private health insurance, you have to pay extra.
Yeah.
You have to pay an extra 2% tax or 3% tax or 1.5% tax,
and then
whatever.
Every year you don't do it, it increases.
Yeah, it's crazy. So they say you literally pay less money if you get out private health. But private health is $1,000, and there are specific private health insurance that are set up to do nothing but just make sure you don't pay that tax. So it's
just transferring tax money to a private corporation for no service.
For no reason.
You don't get anything from it. It's just, hey, don't give us your tax money for the healthcare that you receive.
But they would
instead give it to these other people for nothing.
For nothing, and they would get more money if they just took the tax themselves. It's crazy.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Well, it's literally just corruption.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. They have friends in the private health industry who want more money. Okay, this is Australian news. What do you got? I don't know what this is.
So this was just this made international news because there's not often mass stabbing events, but there was a mass stabbing in
mass stabbing.
So that's what I heard. I heard mass stabbing, and I was like, "What the fuck? How did this happen?" But then turns out what happened. Still horrible, obviously, but it wasn't as random as the news made it seem. It was a man. He stabbed his woman.
His wife.
His wife. I don't know why he said his woman. His wife. Stabbed his wife.
Stabbed his female.
His female. And then a bystander came to help, and he stabbed him as well.
Why do you reckon they call them bystanders? Do you reckon because they're not gay or straight, they're not involved in the situation?
Yeah, they're just like, not they're leaning. They're like, do I get involved or do I not get involved? Yeah, that's it. Why? Good question.
It's a bystander.
Good, that is bystander.
Thank you very much.
So then, she's in hospital. But it was interesting.
So he stabbed his partner.
Yes, but it was interesting. The reason I linked this was because the place I saw this was like an American sharing this on Twitter.
Mass stabbing.
And they're like, look, there's stabbings happening in Australia. This is what happens if you take away guns, people will still find another way to do it. It's like, if this man had a gun, every single person in Engadine would have been dead. Not just, well, no one died. It's just like, yes.
I also love like the hyperfixation with the tool. Like I understand that on the sense of the gun guys, who talk about it like, if it's not a gun, you do it with a knife. It's not this, and I'm like, I mean, whatever. There's arguments to be made about that, but I think like the core of the issue again with this sort of stuff is like toxic masculinity. It's like men thinking they're entitled to kill their wives if they're upset about something they do.
Yeah, exactly.
And gun guys never talk about that. They're like, it's not the gun, it's people, but they also don't talk about the people.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're conservatives.
Exactly. And it's like, it's always men talking about guns as well.
Yeah.
It's like, like there's niche women. Yeah. What's the girl who shit herself?
Shit herself, just like our Prime Minister did in Engadine.
Wow. Have you considered a good guy with a gun stopping him beforehand? I did not think of that. His wife should have had a gun.
This guy had a box cutter. You can't even see that shit. That's not like a knife that you can wield and like see someone and try to disarm him. Like,
then a man got involved and then he was stabbed. But an even bigger problem is.
Wait, let's get rid of this. What the hell is that?
Mayor wants children banned from unfenced camping to stop dingo attacks on Kagari.
What is Kagari?
Kagari is our biggest sand island, or the biggest sand island in the world, which is also known as Fraser Island, I think.
Also, children need to be in fenced camping spots.
Yes.
That's a concentration
This is literally,
for kids.
Yes.
That's horrible.
But they're not saying we need to put the children there in a fenced camp for the dingoes to eat.
No, but it's to protect them from dingoes, ostensibly.
No, but you are right. What if a pedophile got in that camp?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's not a children-only fenced site.
You are right. I didn't think of that.
Watch out, kids. There's dingoes around. Yeah. Stay in here. I don't like that.
Someone said, wait, dingoes actually eat your babies. Yeah, dingoes eat your babies.
But that one was fake.
No, that one was fake. Lindy Chamberlain. Yes, it did.
Oh, it did. Yeah, sorry. The dingo actually ate her baby.
Yeah, why are you spreading propaganda?
No, sorry. I meant the other thing in my head. But yeah.
What other thing?
I don't know. I meant that something was wrong in the
Okay. Aleksa. I felt really bad. No, the reason I got annoyed is because I just feel so bad for that woman.
Yeah. Imagine that. It's like you didn't mourn correctly.
Yes.
So you probably killed your baby.
Yeah, and you go on news. You're literally you saw a dingo take your baby away, and then it disappears and ate it, and the lawyer and the news is like, you go to prison.
Yeah,
we love dingoes in Australia.
I just don't believe women.
So the Fraser Coast Mayor is calling for families with children under 12 to be restricted to fenced-in zones on Kagari. It comes after a string of incidents where children have been attacked by dingoes. What was crazy, the number? 9 of the past 16 high-risk dingo attacks this year have involved children under the age of 17. Pedophile
16.
Dingoes.
Yep. They don't go for us.
No.
Dingoes never attack me.
No. Dingoes never attacked you? I had a dingo steal my camera.
Where?
Yeah, in
Kagari.
Snow Smith's Lake.
Steal? Just disappear with it?
No, we got it back, but it chewed up the camera. Took it off the car.
You got footage of this?
Yeah. No, I've got a picture of the camera afterwards.
Oh, I remember that picture.
Yeah.
No, I've never been attacked by a dingo.
No, they're quite nice.
They're pretty, and they're pretty like, they don't want to be too near you.
No, but what's really interesting is, I won't dox anyone, but I was with family and there was a child around, and it was really interesting seeing the difference, the way dingoes interacted when they just saw me. They were very like, standing away. But around the kid, they were actually trying to get close.
Mm.
And then we had to tell the kid to be like, these are not normal dogs. Don't try to pat them.
Yeah.
They would take
The thing is, they're very pretty. Dingoes are beautiful. They're like the nicest looking breed of dog.
They are like so healthy looking as well. I don't know the lifespan. But
well, now that the kids are fenced off, the dingoes don't have any food, their probably lifespan's going to be so much shorter.
Yeah, all these dingoes die. So that's it for Australian news. It doesn't really compare.
Right, they're really writing a lot about this fence.
Oh, they're the most beautiful dogs.
Beautiful. I would, if I had a kid, I'd sacrifice to a dingo just to get one little pat.
Just to pat
a little pat on its head.
Dingoes kind of look like Sheena Ibus. They do. They're so beautiful. So you can get them as pets as well, but apparently they're quite aggressive, which kind of makes sense.
How similar are they to dogs? I've seen TikToks of a girl who has a kind of like a pet fox, a fox that constantly visits her from the wild and goes while she's patting it, and it's the cutest shit I've ever seen.